Hello, I'm Mike Sumrall, Democratic nominee for State Auditor. I'm here to ask you for your vote and support November 6th for the State Auditor's race. Grew up in a poor family in South Mississippi. My father and my grandfather were carpenters. My mother worked in a sewing factory until she got all four of us kids through high school. She then returned to school and became a nurse, something I've always been very proud of. All four of us kids were able to get a degree of some type from junior college or USM. Mine was in accounting, and that's why I'm running for State Auditor. I'm the only one running right now with an accounting degree, something I think is very important for this office. Background: I didn't just wake up back in January and decide I had $200 extra and want to run for State Auditor. 33 years ago, I enrolled at Jones Junior College in accounting. I later enrolled at USM in accounting, graduated both places. Started working for the State Auditor's office in January 1979. I worked with them up till January or so of 1985 when I retired or quit and went back to school in computer science. Worked there for 2 years in computer science at USM and the business manager for Pike County School during that time period. At the end of those 2 years, I returned to the State Auditor's office in the computer division and audit divisions. 2 weeks ago, I met with the certified fraud examiners here in Jackson. As part of the preparation work for that, I reviewed how the other state auditors' offices around us, what positions were there and what auditors were qualified in. We're the only state in the southeastern region that has a state auditor that is not certified for the financial field. Alabama has an accountant with 4 different certifications. Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, Missouri, Florida, and Georgia all have CPAs with other business type certifications. Even Guam and Puerto Rico have CPAs for state auditors. So why is Mississippi different? Why do we have an auditor with no professional certifications at all? I don't think we should. I think we should have an accountant back in that office. Hamp King was the last auditor with an accounting degree, and I'd like to return to the ways of Mr. Hamp King, one of the finest auditors I think we've ever had here in the state. Current conditions: the State Audit Department is doing 1 out of 4 county audits. They're doing 1 out of 10 school audits, no university or junior college audits, and only a fraction of the state agency audits. These audits are getting done, but they're getting done by private CPA firms, and that's fine, but it's costing the local counties more money. That CPA firm charges the local county more money than the state auditor's office does, so it's increasing your ad valorem taxes on your car and your house to pay for the CPA firms. The state auditor's office budget has stayed the same during these years, actually increased from time to time. So you're still paying your state tax dollars for the state audit department, but you're not getting the work out of them like we used to. I'd like to go back to doing more of the financial audits at the state auditor's office. I'd like to do compliance audits every year with the state auditor's office, where we go out and make sure that the local officials are actually following the laws that they have to follow. And then gradually pick back up some of the financial audits from the CPA firms over the next few years. Now, is this going to cost a lot of money for extra staff? I don't think so. What I'd like to do is cross-train the staff and actually train the staff. They've never had a formal training program in the last 30 years since I've worked there. What I'd like to do is set up a training program where we train the staff for the entire audit process and cross-train them so they can do a school audit or a county audit, depending on the audit needs at the time. These two entities have different fiscal year ends, so the audit cycle is different from one to the other. We can use the same staff doing both audits. When the work is slack in counties, they can help in school division. Therefore, we could get more audits done with the same number of staff. Also, I'd like to use more automation in the audit process. I was a major part of the only virtual audit the audit department did in the last 4 years. It was Pike County. We did that audit in less than half the budget time. In other words, we saved half the budget for that audit. The county paid half what they normally would have paid the state auditor's office. Now, I don't think we can save that same amount of time on all audits, but I think we could have substantial savings in any audit with the use of the computers. And by the use of computers, I mean downloading the data and doing a lot of test work there with the computer system. It allows you to do a more thorough, more efficient, more complete audit. Right now they're doing 22 to 25 samples in expenditures, or 22 to 25 samples in revenue. With a computer-based system, you could do an entire population. You could look at all the transactions. And I think that would help us in the long run. Technical assistance is a very important division with the audit department. I want to use them more in the future, supporting the local entities. A lot of mistakes are simply because the public officials don't know the law. Technical assistance division's duty is to train and support the counties around the state and the state agencies. I want to beef up that staff and increase their support for the many entities around the state. I've gotten this far on almost no money. I've spent roughly $16,000 in my campaign, and I've won the Democratic nomination. How did I do that? Well, it's been a grassroots effort. I've traveled this entire state, visited every county, and spoke with everyone in every courthouse I could. It wasn't just the elected officials. I talked with the janitors, the security guards, anyone in that courthouse. I shook their hand, handed them a card, and asked them to vote for me. My cards are simple. They're black and white. I can get 20 of them for what a color card costs normally. All I want to do is push my qualifications, and you put that in black and white. So why use a big fancy color card? I'm an accountant, bare bones, straight to the point. I think that has helped me all through the state. I haven't had administration. I've had no campaign staff, just me out in my car visiting every courthouse, anyone I can shake hands with. I've done this much with that little budget, about $16,000. With Forrest County, we had roughly a $60 million budget the last 3 years. I took them from a $6 million deficit to a surplus the year that Katrina hit. The audit department has roughly a $12 to $13 million budget. If I can get this much out of a Forrest County budget or my own campaign budget, I promise you I can get more out of the state auditor's $13 million budget. I've ended most of my speeches with a simple statement that I've been blessed to have served you for 23 years as a state auditor. I'm only asking you to allow me to serve you for the next 4 as the state auditor. Let me pay back all the things I've learned, the things I've seen, the things that have gone right, the things that have gone wrong over the last 30 years with the state auditor's office. Like I said, I've worked for every state auditor since Hamp King, and I've learned something from all of them. I'd like to pay that back to the people of Mississippi. So let's put audit back in the state auditor's office. Vote for Mike Sumrall on November 6th. Thank you for your time.